It's February 2020 and it's peak lambing season across Northern Ireland. Near Killinchy and Down, vegetable farmers Adrian McGowan and daughter Emily are making the most of a dry day as they juggle sheep and field work.
Currently we have a batch of ewes, singles, that need brought back down to the house. It's just so wet and they need inside, fed basically. But the problem is trying to find room for them. Don't know where we're going to put them.
Extremely wet. We were hoping to lamb these outside, but this year it's just proved impossible. And this is reasonably dry land beside the shores, Strangford Lough, but it's just incredibly wet. So we're having to get them into the house, but we don't have much space for them is the problem. Every enterprise has its challenges, it doesn't matter what it is, but weather is the biggest challenge in any of them.
This year we're lambing about 170, roughly. 40, give or take, have lambed so far. But the problem is we can't get any outside at the minute. It's so wet. Around here, every space is filled with individual pens. But yeah, we're trying to think of where we're going to put this next batch. This is my final year of Harper Adams University. I finish in June, so however many months that is to go. I just wanted to get away, basically. My sister went away and said, get away, meet new people. Harper Adams has a placement year, year 3, so I got a year of experience working in England, which was fabulous. We opened a farm shop there back in June, and my plan is to come home and move it forward, basically.
The McGowans grow a range of vegetables that they sell wholesale and direct to shoppers. In February, kale, celery and purple sprouting broccoli are in season.
We have ordinary green broccoli during the summertime up until about October, but this purple sprouting is probably over the last few years they've bred this. I think it's a cross between broccoli and some Chinese cabbage or other, but it is superb quality. The flavour is awesome. It's interesting when you boil it, the water becomes purple, and then because the broccoli then becomes green when you eat it. But flavour is superb.
Yeah, this will go straight to the farm shop as soon as we pick it here. We'll get it up and onto the shelves. So you can't get much fresher than that, sure you can't.
Normally you have fields of one variety, never name a mixture of varieties. So this is for the farm shop. We have kale, celery, Savoy cabbage, then we're into cauliflowers, which are quite tricky to grow on a small scale. It's something I've been doing for 40 years now. It has gone through transitions over the years, never stays the same, from wholesale, direct supply right through the supermarkets, and we're coming out the other side again, doing more wholesale and then direct to the customer.
So we just have this at the door as you come in the shop, with wee thin leaks as well for people to make their soup in this cold weather. Where would you like to go now?
So, 3 daughters, one is a designer, other is a teacher, and Emily, she has the farming instinct in her, and they say if it's in you, you can't take it out of you, and if it's not in you, you can't put it in. So it's something you either have or you don't. And I must say I'm very fortunate to have a daughter who is keen.
Right. Pants.
Near Randallstown in Antrim, it's all hands on deck at the Alexander farm. As well as sheep and cattle, James runs a tractor business with wife Ruth and dad Nelson. They're busy 6 days a week with work. So every Sunday morning he tries to spend with his children, Maya, Alicia, Ailsa, Jackson and Eliza.
We're up here for 2 or 3 days. The property will become useful, you know.
We are useful anyway.
Yeah, that's your limited just pet. We just can't find anybody to buy you. We're kind of stuck with you. Right. Lukewarm water, okay? Jug, powder.
Okay. Now what do you do?
Put the skips into the jug and put the water into the jug. Like,
Wait, first of all, we put the water in the jug then.
try and see. There's not plenty more.
Did your dad teach you all this as well, James?
No, not really.
Okay.
Because my father had the same problems I have. It's really, really, really hard dedicating time to take the time to teach them. And that's what I got in the sheep again for originally, was to try and do that, to try and take the time to teach them.
Can I feed it to Lamb?
And I really struggle with the way my life is, with everything going on, to dedicate this time. See, this is the same thing again. Maya did this really well, so I just want to say to Maya, you go and do it, but this is not going to learn if I don't take the time to teach her. No. Right, gently. That's going to be baby lamb, and it might not even suck. You want to hold it right in the middle of its mouth. There you go. Now hold this bottom of its mouth gently, and hold the bottle. And if I was here on my own, I'd be very tempted just to tube the lamb, just to get the milk in its belly and go on to the next job. But whenever they are about and they can do it so well, it really adds to the rearing of them, you know. Bump the jaw. That's it. Right, put it right in the middle.
It's right in the middle.
And tap it up so it's not sucking air. Tremendous. I'm going for a different type of suffix than most people are. I'm trying to get more silkier hair and longer necks and bigger ears, and they're coming through. The beauty of the sheep is you can change them very quickly. It takes a long time to make an impact on cattle. And sometimes, with babies so impatient, then you buy a heifer and you bull her and you flush and you rear the calf. You know, it's a 3-year process from buying a heifer till getting a calf that's ready to sell. You know, where the sheep is it's not instant, but not far off it. Like the fallow these I bought in September time, and that's the lambs there on the ground, 3 weeks or fortnight old, and them lambs were ready to sell come August. I want to run them into shearings and sell them as yearlings, you know, the following summer. So, but some of them will be ready to sell as lambs. But you can really see what you do in 6 months. I am delighted. Open the feeder. So today's the day I get to really look at everything. That for the you at the top. So it gives me a chance to see everything, and then I can tell everybody Monday morning or Tuesday, you never see them, what's needing done. Right, you can't come in here. Go you up to the catwalk, all right? There was a cow calf in here last night, lovely calf. The children just cannot interact with the cattle the same way as the sheep. They're so much bigger. That heifer's first time heifer, she's perfectly normal doing that, you know. She's just been protected from a calf, the way it's been bred in them from the very start, you know.
James is supported by a team of herdsmen, but Sunday afternoons are his chance to take a close look at his cattle himself.
Most of my day I spent in the office, an hour here in the morning trying to organise everybody and telling everybody what needs done or what's to be done at that time. But Sunday's the only day you get to really spend time with them, seeing them, going around them, and not only checking them, seeing are they moving forward, are they getting thinner, are they getting fatter, are they starting to bag up the way they should be coming forward to calve, is there anything looking away, is there anything to be done with them or needing clipped or dosed, or, you know, this is my day for seeing everything. And like, that's perfect. There's about 400 cattle in this yard and it's silent. There's nothing in the stress, there's nothing roaring. After the calf's sick, the cow be roaring because the cow hadn't been sucked. I just want everything to be like this. Just lying content and silence. They're full of silage. They've got water, they want for nothing other than anything that I find wrong with them. So I want to walk through, I want to see every animal up on its feet, every animal up stretched, and make sure everything's okay. And if it's not okay, fix it. Because they can't fix it. They're in them pens because I put them in them pens, so I have to make them as comfortable and as full and as content as they can possibly be. I don't want them wanting for anything because they can't control it. I put them in there, I have to make sure they have everything they need. We all do. Farmers, pet owners, everybody, that's what we have to do. If we're taking this animal and looking after it and managing it and it's ours, this way these cattle and them sheep are mine, I have to make sure they have everything they want. You don't want to bother her, but you want to make sure she's okay. She can be lying because she's sore fit. Like, they're lying there because they're content. But I don't know that they're okay until I raise them, so you want to raise them. So, like, if you're that quiet and they're that tame, you just stand beside them, they'll not get up, so you need to get them up. So what you do, you give them a poke, you know. Yeah, fine.
Near Gortune in Tyrone, Kenny Preston and daughter Zara have their hands full lambing their pedigree Beltex flock.
We're kept really busy with a shed. Pens are falling up and we've ran out of lambing pens, so they're sort of everywhere now, but once we get these here ones moved out, they're nearly ready to go out into a bigger pen now, so we'll have more pens.
The Prestons try to let the ewes lamb by themselves, but they do intervene when they think it's needed.
When they're padding about the pen for about 2 hours and they aren't processing, like they aren't getting the lamb out, you just stick your hand in and hopefully pull it out. There's usually something wrong with them, like the 2 feet aren't coming, or it's just the head, or it's coming back way, so.
Sometimes if you're trying to get your hand in to pull the foot or do something, or push the head back a wee bit, and she's pushing against you, it's nearly harder. And then when you would want her to push to maybe engage the head into the birth canal, she does nothing. So it's just, that's why we put the head thing on, to pull the head in. Because once it's in and legs forward, it has to come out. As a rule of thumb, if you start working with a lamb and he starts pulling his feet and stuff away from you, it's a bad sign, because he really shouldn't be born. So you're very close to losing a lamb at that stage. If he starts pulling his feet back from you, he's fighting with you, it's not a good sign.
Some are easy enough to get their legs up to come out, but some of them, like that there one we just landed, it was, their 2 legs were crossed over one another and it's just the head.
You're against time, like, you just can't say, I'll leave you and I'll come back in a couple of hours. No, it's ready to be born, it's ready to be born. It's just knowing when to intervene. I'll keep hoping for ram lambs, but you have to take what you get. Can't send it back at this stage. That's pedigree Beltex lamb. Definitely needs the colostrum, it's the most important feed. But it keeps them warm, because a young lamb cools down very quickly. That's all the antibodies. If he didn't get that there, he probably wouldn't live without the antibodies from his mother, like, you know, for whatever bugs is about would affect him, so they would.
17-year-old Zara is a florist, but she's more than happy spending the rest of her time working with her parents, Kenny and Janice.
You don't really think about being out with your mum and daddy like every day. Like, it's just sort of part of me now. You're just out with Leah running about, and it's just everybody's here. Grandad's out, and you don't really think about it. I have her moments. He roars at me a few times and I roar at him, so and then we go off and do our own thing. So, but we get on well. Like, I've sort of learnt from when I was wee about stuff that has to be done and not get in the road. When they're under pressure, just get out of the way and let them do it. And then if they need a hand, just don't say no, just go and do it.
Well, Janice will lamb as many as me, so she will. Zara will give a hand. And Leah goes out, has to get out from school in the evening, give the wee pens water and one thing or another. Just in general, like, it's good to have the family about, like, you know.
It's going good there. It's good whenever they can lamb it themselves without any assistance. So that's good. There's another, I think she has another one in her here, so we'll just give her a wee minute to see if she pushes it forward. And then we'll check her again. Because sometimes if the wee leg's tuck back in, they can't lamb it themselves, you know, so usually whenever they lamb the first one, the second one will come through, you know, so that seems to be going good there. A ewe lamb, a ram lamb and a ewe lamb, so that's good. Is that good? That's good. One of each.
Here you are.
In addition to running the farm, Kenny has a contracting business, baling and spreading slurry.
this time of the year is quiet. Like our tractors will not do 100 hours from October till March. They just sit there.
Near Cumber in Down, every morning is an early start for Claire Shearer. She breeds sports horses that she sells in the UK and further afield. In February, she's anxiously awaiting the birth of 2 new foals. Claire has a strict routine to prepare the animals for travel and competitions later in the year.
I like feeding every morning for 6 or before, because we go to Balmoral, Dublin, shows down south. I don't like them being out of routine. I would rather them be in a routine, so when we go away, if we have to feed early, there's no disruption at all, and they're happier. I like our young horses to be born at the start of the season. So last year we had Guinness in March, Alaska's due February this year. I like them good and early. As the season progresses, you have a better quality foal. Come Dublin, your foal's well developed. This mare 4 years ago, wouldn't have been so laid back, so civil. Since having her first foal, being put in foal the first time round, hasn't looked back. Loves being mummy, enjoys everything. Yes, puss. My job now, apart from doing this a lot morning and evening, I work in a day centre for people with brain injury, dementia. I love my work, wouldn't change it for the world. I have a farming group every Wednesday all day. They get to see the mares foaling, they get to learn. But if you don't work in a good job, you can't afford to run what we're doing, and horses don't come cheap.
Claire recruited her boyfriend, Davy, to help out.
I had no background with horses until I met Claire, and then just fell in with them, and yeah, it's just the way I like it. Don't know where I'd be without them. I was motorbike background to start with, and then give up on that, and fell in with Claire, as I say. Started these horses, and then started in-hand showing, and yeah, got into the breeding program and stuff. That's the way we wanted to go, and yeah, I really enjoy it. I really enjoy the showing side of it, and just getting out to see the country shows and meeting up with people you don't see and stuff.
This is Ivy, rising 3-year-old. We're aiming to get her to Dublin this year to do the performance event and performance list jumping, only because she's that well bred and her lines are all jumping eventers. Hopefully aim her for the likes of the Go for Gold or Monarch sales at the end of the year. At the minute I don't compete anymore due to injuries. I like to produce young stock, I like to bring young stock on, I like to see them how they go on to somebody else. I give them the foundation blocks that any young horse should have. A lot of people nowadays can't do young animals. It takes a lot of hard work, it takes time, energy, a lot of patience.
There are nearly 25,000 farms in Northern Ireland. The majority are family businesses. Jubilee Farm near Larne in Antrim is a bit different. It's a community farm with 155 member owners. Johnny Hansen has come to the Science Fair in Belfast to spread the word.
This is the first sustainability fair at the Science Festival, but we did do an event last year for the Science Festival. I really enjoy them. It's really nice to bring the farm to people and get out, meet people, talk about what we do, and also try and connect it to some bigger picture things like climate change and extinction and food security, these really key issues in the 21st century. So this is art by our artist in residence, Penn Jones. Having had our successful poetry competition, we've just launched our art competition a few weeks ago. And again, it's a great way for people of all ages to get involved with what's going on at the farm and use art as a medium to celebrate the countryside, farming, nature, the things that are happening on the farm. So I've set up the stall, but I need to go and set up the talk now. And with that, I feel a bit like a duck, calm and collected on the surface, but paddling furiously under the water. But like with all of these things, like with my talk last year, which had, I think, 180 people at it at the Ulster Museum, as soon as you get started, all the nerves disappear. My first paid job was in the Ulster Museum, actually, in the science education team. So it's getting back to my roots. And it's fun to think of engaging ways to communicate quite deep and complex issues in a fun and engaging way. I hope that I can inspire a new generation, not just of conservationists, but also of farmers, and especially farmers and conservationists who can work together, not in opposition. Before I was a farmer, I was a researcher. I was doing my PhD at the University of Cambridge, and I was working on snow leopard conservation in Nepal and how they could coexist with farmers. So looking at ways that large predators that ate small farmers' livestock, looking at ways that that problem could be solved through, for example, tourism, compensation schemes, education, different ways so that, again, people and nature can coexist. And yes, different species, different context from County Antrim and Northern Ireland, but it's still the same theme. It's how can people and farming and nature coexist? And that is one of the great questions of the 21st century.